Okay, the second video I'm going to be looking at volume of the three different shapes: rectangular prism, triangular prism, and cylinder. Just as a review video, again, we've gone through all this, but I wanted to make sure you're up to date on what to do. So first of all, looking at a rectangular prism. Volume is now looking at three-dimensional. You can imagine pouring water into these shapes and seeing how much water fills it up. That's what we're talking about volume, the space inside of a 3D object. Or I like to think of water. That makes a lot of sense to me to figure that out. And remember, volume, we could imagine to create the volume of this, we have the base of this object, remember, is a rectangle, right? The base of this object is a rectangle. And if we stack a bunch of these rectangles on top of each other, we'll eventually get to the top. So remember, the formula for volume is equal to area of the base times height. So what would the area of this base be? And remember, if you remember this formula, that all volume is just whatever the base of this thing is times the amount of times it goes up, the height of it, then we're going to get the volume. So the area of the base, what is the base of this object? Well, it's a rectangle. And what's the formula for a rectangle? Yeah, it's length times width times the height. So our formula for volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. Now this is a little different for the triangular prism because it's on the side. So I'm going to actually draw the same shape, but I'm going to draw it like so. Now, in this case, it's confusing because the triangle has a height and the prism has the height. So I'm going to just call this the length, which is the length standing up here, and this is the height of and this will be our base. So we could find the volume where what shape is what is the shape of the base in this case, which is here, or on this guy, it's back here. The shape of the base is the unique shape, which would be a triangle. So volume here would be area of base times height. But look at the height of this is actually the length. So we're going to say times the length. And I usually say height, but just not to confuse the height of the triangle with the height of the prism, I'm going to just call it the length because that's the length of this here. So what is going on? There we go. Area of the base. So area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2 times the length of that. So to simplify, base times height times length divided by 2. And lastly, for our cylinder, again, its volume equals area of base times the height. Now, what is the area of this base? Well, we look at it, and we have a circle as our base. So all we need to do is find the formula for area of a circle, which is pi r squared times the height times h. So then our area of a volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. And these three formulas are the three formulas you will use to find volume of these shapes. So let's go down here, same questions that I gave you before, but now let's find the volume. Well, volume here is length times width times height. And always write out the formula if you're going to use it, because that helps you to remember what it is so you don't have to look it up every time. So this is just 10.4 times 12 times 4.5, which is equal to, got to get my calculator out, 10.4 times 12 times 4.5 is 561.6 centimeters cubed, because we're in 3 dimensions now, so our units are cubed. Volume of this is base times height times length divided by 2. Well, now, looking at the base and height, remember, they always have to be at a 90-degree angle. And look, we see a 90-degree angle here. So the base in this case is 6 times the height, 3.35, times the length, which is 8, divided by 2, which is then going to be 6 times 3.35 times 8 divided by 2 is equal to 80.4 centimeters cubed. Again, cubed units because it is 3-dimensional. Lastly, and this isn't centimeters, I was mistaken. Oop, that was too much. 4 meters cubed, because it's in meters, not centimeters. And lastly, volume equals pi r squared times h, which is pi. Radius, which we determined in our last video, is 9.25 squared times height, which is 20. So it's 3.14 times 9.25 squared times our height, which is 20, which is 5,373.33 centimeters cubed. And this is how we could find volume of a shape. Hopefully this video has helped you remember how to calculate volume. Take care and bye.